Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com, where we'll share any links that things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout. Back again from the break. Back again. Guys, did we talk about our subscriber count? Did I even mention that?
Yeah.
Did I tell you how many we have now? Did I tell you?
No.
No, God, it's funny. I started the beginning of the show. I was going to mention that, and I forgot to even tell you what it was. We have surpassed 10,000 subscribers.
Amazing.
10,000 people. Thanks,
Oh,
Colt.
yeah.
I know we're listening to this.
So-
10,000 people are listening to are tuning in weekly to listen to the Mind of Colt. Which I think what it is.
Like I said, he's the DJ Khaled of the podcast.
It is.
Just
Another one.
He really is. He really is. If you want your podcast to blow up, you should really just have Colt on for a while, and then there you go. You look what happens.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
No, but here's the thing. Like, I got friends in the podcast game, if you will. Like my buddy Travis Chappell. I was talking to him. He's got a really highly rated podcast on Apple, and I said to him, I go, bro, I said, we're just past 10,000 subscribers. How is that? He goes, how many episodes do you have? I'm like, I think we're recording like 14 or 15 now. He's like, dude, that's amazing. That's great. So yeah, man, I hope you guys are entertained. I hope you guys are listening. I hope you're entertained. I hope you're picking up some helpful stuff in life and business and everything else, because that really is why we're doing this and what we're doing here. But
back to Disneyland.
So I got to tell you, man, when I was at my mastermind group last time, and one of the guys was up there was talking about mastering mind, spirit, and body, and the whole deal, right? And he said, like, if you go to an airport and you look at like 100 people, 80 of them will be terrible, and 10 of them will be somewhat in shape, and 5 of them will be really, and then there's like maybe 1 or 2 people out of that 100 that are like, that dude's really in shape. Yeah. He's like, that's what you want to be when you get there. And anyway, so as I'm at Disneyland, I'm sitting there at one point, I'm just like I just picked a line in the abyss, right? And I said, everybody that crosses this is gonna be the line, right? I just want to see what we're working with here is America. Let's get 100-person sample. That's what we're doing. I saw not one super fit person. Now, granted,
you are in Disneyland.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Well, let's be defensive. I'm not, dude. I'm not super in shape. Yeah. I don't have an 8-pack. I'm not ripped, but I don't feel that myself. I don't look at myself as obese either, and I'm not based on the BMI scale. I'm not. But as I look at this, like, if you're an adult, you want to be super chunky, man, that's your business. You want to eat Cheetos all day, that's your business. But here's my issue. My issue is this. So many of the kids that I saw were, you would just consider them obese by any, like, dangerously pediatric diabetes type obese. Right. So my question is twofold. I want to talk about this. My question is, number one, what is the parent's responsibility in the way to the kids? And how much is the current climate of you're beautiful just the way you are, love yourself, everybody's perfect, how much is that actually, or is it damaging kids in the long run?
So to answer the first part, it is 100% parents' responsibility for the weight of their children. Mm-hmm. We've started to see things like weight in this country as something subjectively, problematic. It is an objectively problematic thing.
100%.
It's not a matter of you're beautiful, you're this and that. Yeah, you are. You're a great person. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. But optimize your health, optimize your body. And then you'll get the apologists that'll say, well, there can be healthy fat people. It's like, yeah, but it's not good for your joints, your bones.
It's like Norm Macdonald would talk about smoking. Well, what about that one guy, Ned Heilerson, that lived to be 85? He smoked every day.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. Like John and I would talk about it. I'm an athlete. I've been a lifetime athlete. I'm currently on a process of lifting as heavy as I've ever lifted. But I'm in the gym 3 days a week on top of other stuff. So I'm on my program for what I'm trying to accomplish. Now there'll be a point where I'll lean down, but I'm 41. I'm not beholden to anybody. Like my body shape is something I work on and I figure it out. But as children, they're not buying their groceries. They're not the ones doing it. Is an absolute parental responsibility. Now, John, to your point, I've been to Tokyo Disneyland.
Okay.
Now, Tokyo Disneyland, I've been to American Disneyland, obviously, several times. And then I went to Tokyo Disneyland. You want to talk about a human experiment?
Yeah. They thought you were a character. I'm saying, oh, Shrek.
No, they definitely no.
Pictures with them.
There's something about the Japanese I've always really, really appreciated. They are amazing in terms of just how they operate. Their daily lives, I've never felt more welcome. I've never felt like I fit in a place better because fast people are on the left and slow people are on the right.
It's just assumed. It's just
get the hell out of people's way. You're considerate of others.
Yeah.
They are world class in being considerate of others. There's no garbage cans in Disney. There's no garbage cans in Japan. People just don't create waste. They just don't. They don't litter. I would eat off the floor of a bathroom in Disneyland, Tokyo. It is spotless. It's unbelievable. Really? Unbelievable. You would not understand it. You go and it looks the same as American Disneyland. There's a Tower of Terror. There's all these things. Mm-hmm. But everybody's standing in line politely, right? Now, I always use this as an analogy. You get that big fat guy in Disneyland who's stomping and waddling up or on a cart, who's grotesquely obese and who's just taking up more space than usual and unaware of other people. And then you go to Tokyo Disney and it's everybody politely in the line that they should be in.
Exactly.
Children waiting patiently or playing nicely with each other. Yeah. Phenomenal. Like it is remarkable. So you see those children, not a single one is obese. Not a single one of them. So it's pure lifestyle. It's pure habit. It's pure how we operate. They have tablets too. They're not without technology, but I don't know what it is. It's
do you know? Well, so I was having dinner with some family I have some family from Lebanon, and we're in the restaurant. It's a quiet restaurant. They're like, everybody here's fat. Yelled it loud. And I just sat there.
Well, you were Golden Corral.
Yeah, no, it was a nice restaurant, right? And I just sat there and I looked around and I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess they are overweight. And then they called me 2 days later and they're like, do you know why everybody's fat there? We just went to a grocery store. You guys have like 4 aisles of nothing but sugar, foods and stuff. They go, you'll never see that. Which was crazy, like to think of that. But the whole kid thing is it's a really touchy subject with people because like my kid was a little overweight, right? And so I had to deal with this. And when I would be there at a restaurant or around a group of people and tell my son, hey, you know, that's probably enough. You don't want to overeat. And I'd say it nicely. People would give me the evilest looks like you're being mean to your kid. Well, you're calling him fat. And I'm like, and I used to pull him aside. I never called him fat. Never. I go, it's an unhealthy weight is the word I use. I go, and the only reason I wanted to say this, I don't care about appearances. I care about you when you're 30. I care about you when you're 50, you when you're 60. And this goes for me. And it took him a while, but he's dropped a lot of weight now. And my daughter, you could give her everything. She's got a metabolism of burn. But the way people would pull me aside and go, you can't do that to your kid. I go, what? You want me to let him be overweight and have a health issue and confidence issue?
My dad would just be like, put the fucking food down, you fat shit. Like it was very, very direct. So,
but I'd get nasty looks. I had multiple people be like, can't believe you do that to your kid. He's a kid. I'm like, he's 13 years old. He's 15 years old.
Our hormonal changes.
Absolutely.
Well, and let's back up. Like, because my kids have undefined short stature, of which they get HGH every day. I know people are probably like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. You're like 6 feet a million and your wife's 5'10". But yes, they do. You have to shoot them up with HGH, and it has nothing to do with how tall they are. It has to do with their hearts, their lungs, all that stuff, coming together as it is. And when we go to the endocrinologist, you see some very heavy kids there. And some of that is genetic issues with the kids. Mm-hmm. So there are exceptions. But the problem is, I think in some cases from what I saw, like I'm watching the parents' diet, I'm watching what they're eating at Disneyland, and they're mirroring it. And it's not even a thought process to what's going on. And I just think I think just like poverty is a generational problem. Right. I think obesity in this country is rapidly also becoming a generational problem. You learn these habits from your parents. And I think, it's amazing to me. I pride myself in being a pretty good parent, but some of the lessons that some of these parents are teaching their kids is just nuts. Mm-hmm. Not even about food. Like, okay, case in point, yesterday, we go to, what was it? We had some time to kill because obviously our flight got delayed. We had some time to kill, so we went to Knott's Berry Farm yesterday, right? And I'm like, okay, we got 4 hours or whatever we had there. We got to blaze this through. We got to get it done. So have like a fast pass thing, whatever you can buy. And it's not cheap. And God bless, I'm in a situation where I can do that. Right. And so we bought the fast pass thing. Like, no, you just go to the side little thing for fast pass. And as we walk up, as we're waiting in line to buy the FastPass thing, there's a long line at guest services, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Everybody's going to guest services, and they kept walking away with these blue sheets of blue paper. I'm like, okay. And as we got in line to go with our FastPass, everybody in front of us had the blue paper, and I very quickly figured out what the blue paper was.
ADA.
It was, I'm handicapped. And dude, listen, if you fake being handicapped for any reason, I'm going to tell you right now, it may sound terrible. I hope you become handicapped in some way, to the point where I told my wife, I said, here's what we need to do. We need to write a horror movie where a bunch of teenage kids go to the fun park during Fright Nights, fake to be handicapped so they can kid, and then the killer doesn't kill them, maims them all.
Yeah.
Maims every last one of them.
I mean, it's just such a piece of shit move.
It's like dude, and I'm not talking about like 3 people. You're talking about tons of people were doing this.
I will be honest with you. My wife, this is a terrible thing. My wife slipped and broke her ankle chasing after a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And so we've been going to the Raiders games with her boot on, and it's like VIP treatment.
No. Like, that's okay. That's acceptable.
Thankfully that there is, the facilities and things like that have.
But here's the thing.
But it's
okay.
You actually have
Of course,
you have a reason. Look, we were at Great Wolf Lodge because that's where we stayed because the kids want to stay at the water place. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's a cool place, whatever. And my wife is on a raft with my daughter on one of the slides. Sticks her foot out because my wife is, she's not the not clumsiest person in the world. She sticks her foot out to try to stop them and stuck her foot in a grate. Ooh. And ripped 2 of her toenails completely off.
Oh, jeez.
She did that. We went to Disney that night, and then we went to Knott's Berry Farm the next day, and she never even thought about saying, I need to get like a handicap thing.
But she's a good human being.
Yeah. Because if you do that.
If you're ever with a handicapped person, though.
God.
And so you know how there's people that will park in those white hashed lines beside handicapped?
You can't.
That's so that doors can open and people can have access in their wheelchairs. If you've never been, John, this goes back to people not appreciating stuff.
Yeah, if you've never been somewhere where there's abject poverty, you don't understand what it is.
Experienced having to help somebody who's been, disabled in some way, right? Your able-bodied experience, I know you don't want to wait that extra 5 minutes to do whatever, and you want it now because you're a petulant child, at the end of the day, you may be in a position, like you said, I don't wish anything upon people, but you may be in a position one day where you become legitimately handicapped, and only then will you truly understand why these things exist, for people that are.
I dated a girl at 18 years old, and you're at that young punk age still, right? Her dad had major MS. Yeah. Right. And the one thing he sat there, I was like, I'll be a while because he parked in a handicap and I was pulling up and I go, I'll be a bit. The parking lot's packed. I might have to walk across the damn, street and go park over there. And he goes, just remember, I would love to be able to do that.
Right. Yeah.
And that comment changed my life. Like I need to stand in line for 4 hours. God bless that I'm able to stand for 4 hours, right? Like
that's like working out too, though. Instead of I gotta work out today.
I get to work out. No, I mean, we were one of my wife's dear friends. Her daughter just went through like the walker with the kids during the fight. One of my wife's friends from high school, her daughter had that same exact cancer and just got cleared from it like
good
a month ago. Till 2 days ago. And she needed brain surgery. So, she went through brain surgery yesterday. She's out now. She's stable. She's fine. But the point being is all day yesterday, it's like anything that inconvenience, the flight's getting canceled, all of this stuff that did get inconvenience. It's like, dude, at least neither one of my kids is in brain surgery right now.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can, it's hard to keep that perspective though. People, and this goes to business, this goes to everything. Everybody, the world is relative. Your happiness is relative. Yep. Everything's relative to what you have, right? If you take a kid who gets $100 a month in allowance and a kid who gets $1,000, and you cut the kid with 100 to 50 and the kid with 1,000 to 500, they both suffer the same amount of psychological stress.
Yeah.
So it's not always fair to shit on people either that are overprivileged relative to underprivileged people, right? Because their stress is real. What's good is to implement those kind of reminders or those experiences that allow you to understand how it could be.
Well, I think, back to, talk about kid raising, whatever. For us, it's a couple of things. It's all about moderation. It's all about everything in moderation. I mean, our kids, like my son, lacrosse, he wanted McDonald's, fine. Am I going to feed it to them every day? Absolutely not. Do they eat a good balanced diet? Yes, they absolutely do. But I think more to point of that is I tell my kid, like my son is playing lacrosse, my daughter is in cheerleading, but the point being is it's like I don't care what you do, but you're doing something. Right.
Yep.
You got to do something. You can't do nothing. And way too many kids in this country right now are doing nothing but thumbs at a screen.
But that's their parents.
Yeah.
Or their parents will say, "Oh well, they play piano." It's like no, it's not just an activity. Your body's connected to your brain.
Yeah.
When one is out of balance, so is the other. I hear people online all the time, and again, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not dealing with people clinically all the time, but I will tell you this. I bet you, and I'll take that $10,000 bet, John.
Oh.
I'll put out my own $10,000 bet. You take everybody that has a lot of problems with, I'm on SSRIs, I'm on all these things, I'm depressed, I have anxiety and stuff, and I will guarantee you that more than 50% of them don't live a physically healthy lifestyle, right? And weren't actively involved in sports as kids.
Yeah.
Because something like women that play sports as kids have the lowest rates of teen pregnancy. They have the highest rates of being like straight A students. It's all these things because if you can exhaust your physical body, then at least your brain can, you know what I mean, function in harmony with it. So
yeah. No, I agree. Cool.
Oh, no, I totally agree. I mean, my dad was the same way. You're doing something, right? You play a sport, right? We did. We would sometimes leave because our football season, if we made it in playoffs, overlapped with basketball. I mean, we were playing all the time, and you know, it kept us. The kids that did not go. So I'm from Utah. Utah has a huge drug problem. People don't realize that Utah's the epicenter for, you know, Oxycontin and stuff like that.
That's not against the rules for Mormons.
No,
right?
No, because you can't smell it on their breath, right? Like you can weed, like you can alcohol. Last count, and this I'm 38, so how long you been out? 20 years. Okay, so last count was probably a decade ago. I think I had 21 kids that I knew from my senior class OD'd, right? And out of those 21, 19 to 20 of them were ones that didn't play sports. Right?
I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
You can draw a line. And just like everything, you know, you ever hear that like Norm Macdonald smoking thing? It's like, I can always find you the outlier of whatever, okay? But think about averages.
Look hard enough, yeah.
Think about the averages, right? You can always say, well, I know a guy that he quit college and became a millionaire. It's like, yeah, but most millionaires, you know, right, were in med school, which was difficult. It's one of those things where you can't bank on the outlier.
Here's the question. Is it okay to talk to people? Like, is it okay to say, like, dude, you got to get your kid in sports. What are you doing? Like, is that taboo? Is that off the table? Yeah, I mean, to have an honest people you know that are friends of yours, if it's your niece, your nephew, these people, is it okay to have that conversation?
I think there's probably good ways that, like, and that comes down to psychology. How are you persuasive without being off-putting? Right. How to be persuasive and say, hey, why don't you get your kids playing soccer with mine? They really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, because you're right. A lot of times these parents go, well, they really haven't said they wanted to play sports. They like to sit in their room and play on their iPad.
Play yep.
Well, I know they do. Of course, I'd like to sit there and eat ice cream all day too.
I think the problem is you know, our kids are our pride and joy, regardless of, you know. Trust me. I mean, everybody can look at people's kids and be like, you got a good kid there, or you know, what's going on there. Right. But everybody thinks their kids are wonderful because you should. That's the love you feel for your kids, and it's how it is. But I think when it comes to stuff like that, people their ego takes over faster than their brain, and they're just like, you don't understand. They have whatever, or they have this, and it's like, maybe they shouldn't be eating Kentucky Fried Chicken 4 or 5 times a day.
Right. Well, yeah, you know, John, that's actually a good point too. How many people do you meet where their kids have some ailment, and I go, have you really had them? Like, are they physically exhausted often?
Yeah.
I think, oh, well, he can't because he's got this. Parents will make up the excuses to protect your kids, and it's
not to protect our kids. It's to protect them being a bad parent. That's what it is.
There's a reason I'm laughing. There's a reason I'm laughing. It's because I just realized Kentucky Fried Chicken was my go-to unhealthy food. And why was Kentucky Fried Chicken my unhealthy food? Because this is another Egypt fun fact. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Why is Kentucky Fried Chicken an absolute delicacy in every part of the world? I mean, dude.
Have you had the new chicken sandwich from there?
No.
It's phenomenal.
But I'm telling you, we're listening to this music while we're in Egypt, right? And I'm not talking about one guy. Everywhere we went, we heard this music, and it was like, okay, we're gonna play something for you now.
This is a banger.
The banger. The elders don't like it.
Yeah, this is like Elvis. This was Elvis pissing off the old people in
the elders do not like. I almost got to pull my phone up.
Don't get me started. Do you guys?
No.
Like Elvis?
No. They're like. You know, the lyrics are just a little out there.
Really?
And so here I'll give you a little.
So
while you go on that, you really like Elvis, Chris?
Okay.
I thought it's horrible.
I'm gonna give you a little.
All right.
Hang on, here we go.
Big tech.
All right, so this is a banger in Egypt right here. That's a banger.
It should be a banger here.
We cleared ASCAP
to the
via
point.
my phone.
Okay, right. No, to the point where literally in my Uber yesterday in Anaheim, my driver's from Egypt, and I'm like, "Oh, you're from Egypt?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, do you like Equati?" He's like, "Oh, pulled it right up his phone. He's jamming that out."
Already had it.
Right. The lyrics to this song include such massively offensive things as I'm riding in my car with my orange cat.
My orange cat beside
I have an orange cat beside me. I just bought him a liver sandwich and a hot dog, and he did not take a sip of my Pepsi. There's that. Then there's
calm down, John. This
I know. It's for kids. It's for kids.
Children.
And then now it gets a little racy cold. Here it comes. You ready? My mind is a hair salon. People come in and out. This is how many times we heard the song. We looked up the words enough to know what the words are. My mind is a hair salon. People come in and out. I see you. I'm going to make you my mother-in-law. And at our wedding, Kentucky Fried Chicken for everyone. For everyone.
The best part of it though is he goes, I only make friends with tough guys, even if you have a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Wow. These
So-
are
So
I
so
see.
hyper-offensive. And now
Maybe that's going to be. You know what? Screw being an Olympian. I'm going to become a rap lord at the Egyptian.
we made this comment. They did not find it funny.
No.
Well, you got to remember, it's so funny because this is what we call Chinese math. Here's another business lesson. Not to bring it back, but people always think that if this works here, it will work there, right? People don't understand necessarily culture and customs, why it works. So Hussein, love him, but he likes that old classical Egyptian music. He says, I'm into classical music. And I'm thinking, hey, like Bach, Mozart?
No.
It's like, not at all. He has old Arabic, Islamic songs. And that's what he listens to. He's a 38-year-old guy. He's not listening to bangers. He's not listening to club music. He's listening to old, and it's because as a kid, that's probably what he heard in his house. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of times people like country, in my estimation.
Yeah, and the whole time
they grew up with it, so they're familiar with it.
And in the front seat, the whole time he's dancing like this.
He's loving it. Like
so if you can't see me, you're gonna have to check that on YouTube because
that's a thing called Chinese math.
The whole time he's doing
if I can get one out of 1,000 people here, I can have 1 million customers.
Well, it's just, you look at Hasselhoff. Look how big he is in Germany still, right?
Have you heard the music? It's terrible. Like you can't.
It's awful.
That music in Egypt, a lot of it is unlistenable.
Oh yeah,
like it's awful music. You can't listen to it, but for them, it's got this. So you can't just drop a ludicrous song in the middle of Egypt and expect it to take off.
You can't.
They don't even hear music a lot of times.
Although you know what though,
I
think Luda transcends. I
think
Luda transcends.
But talk about a bad performance.
On halftime, no one talked about it, so I was wondering if it was that bad.
What an effortless.
But I'll tell you who is a great actor and who gave a great performance was you in Egypt. And here, let me tell you about a story that Chris gave the performance of the year. And here's what happened. So, of course, we find out the beer is like 1%. You're drinking like...
They say 4%, but it's probably 1.
Yeah, no, it's literally like trying to get drunk drinking O'Doul's. That's what it is. We're pounding this stuff. I can't do it. Because it's not haram. And a glass of Jack Daniels in our hotel, which was very nice, was like $40 American.
$45
really?
For a glass of Jack Daniels.
I don't want to drink that bad.
Really?
Right? I don't want to drink that bad. So Chris gets on whatever app you were on.
Well, this guy tells me, the Drinkies. Remember the guy...
Oh, we run into a dude at the casino there that's like, after talking to this guy, he's from New York.
That's a whole story.
That's a whole thing. After talking to this guy, okay, rule of thumb. If you produce records for the Wu-Tang Clan, lead with that.
Don't
drop that 2 hours later.
I'm here doing sound for an Egyptian show that's kind of going to be like the Blacklist.
Yeah.
All the Egyptian actors. I'm like, cool. So we're talking to this guy. He's like, yeah, there's this app. You can have alcohol delivered to your hotel. I'm like, oh, cool. Anyway, what's your name? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And his name was Billy Music. And he goes, oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, do you like produce music of other songs?
Yeah, like, where you at?
For goes,
right.
Oh, yeah, I do all the Wu-Tang's out. I'm like, we've been here
this whole time
for 2 hours, and you're not dropping the Wu-Tang Clan on us?
Wait.
Oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, I did RZA, did Method Man. We're like, what?
Raekwon's last time. Yeah.
And this is like the whitest dude. The whitest dude in Egypt for sure.
Really?
Anyway, yeah.
At a casino where they give you in Egypt American money to play with.
I know why.
Because it's haram.
It's haram. You cannot
Gambling's
gamble
haram
with
in
Egyptian money.
So they give you American money.
Well, that's a currency.
Yeah.
And it's on the third floor of our hotel.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a bad little casino.
It wasn't. It was like a cruise ship casino.
But we weren't expecting there to be one, and because there's nothing else to do, we went up there one time and
they had drinks.
Does it make it right to use loopholes? No.
But you cannot go in that casino if you're Egyptian.
Yeah, we had to show our passports.
We were not Egyptian to even get in the casino
in our hotel.
How do you feel about that? There's religions
I'm like a free market guy. I believe that you should be able to have sins and vices as long as you don't harm people. I don't gamble really. I gamble twice a year, maybe. Yeah. I've spent less than $100 a year lifetime gambling for as long as I've lived here.
When you were doing what I told you, you're winning. I'd like to point that out.
Making the bank. So, but it's one of those things.
I crushed.
What were you playing?
I was playing deuces on a machine, and the video poker machines were super rigged for the house. Like, well, no. The low pass. We get like a royal with no deuces paid like $750 instead of $4,000.
Oh, wow.
It was brutal. Wow. But anyway, I won like $300. I put in 100. Oh yeah, I won 100, cashed out 600. So, and that was a whole thing.
Paid for his ski trip.
Yeah, I paid for everything that was there, which was good. But back to the acting job. So he meets the Wu-Tang dude who tells him we're getting booze delivered to the room, and I think I'm asleep when he's doing this because literally it was like just sleep when you can. I mean, right. I felt because we were so jet lagged, and you're sleep here is 4 hours there, 2 hours here, whatever, it all adds up. So I think I'm sleeping. And he's like, I'm going to order some booze off this app. I'm like, what are you talking about? What app? He's like, no. I get whiskey. I get vodka. I'm like, what kind? He goes, it just says whiskey vodka. I'm like, okay. So he orders it and it shows up and it's like, Controy, whatever it was. But it was like a decent, it was a glass bottle. It wasn't plastic.
It was a nice glass bottle, but they were in Arabic.
And it came pretty quick.
5 minutes.
Yeah, it was fast.
Wait,
remarkable.
what?
It was fast. Yeah, it was fast.
It was delivered to our thing in 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. So then we get it, and then Chris calls down. Here's the acting, right? And Chris calls down to the downstairs, and he has some Cokes and some Sprites sent up. He says, bring me a bucket of ice. Brings the ice, and I'm sitting there and thinking about it. Ice shows up, Coke shows up. I'm looking at this whiskey bottle. I'm like, dude, I don't even know what kind of booze this is. Like, I don't even know what this is. It just says whiskey on it and some Arabic writing. I have no idea. And he's like, no, it'll be good. So so first of all, he starts pouring a drink, and I go, man, I don't know about that ice. I don't know about the ice. He goes, no, we're in a nice hotel. I go, I don't know about the ice. So this is the acting job Chris does. You ready? He calls down to the front desk, and this is all I hear. Yes, we just got some drinks and some ice delivered to our room. I just want to make sure that the ice is filtered. Filtered. Ice, cold water. Filtered. And he hangs up. He goes, yeah, it's filtered.
Yeah, it's filtered.
And I go, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, there is zero chance that dude understand a word he just said. He's like, no, yeah, it's filtered. It's fine.
But you guys both look a lot leaner now.
He said what?
You guys look leaner.
So anyway.
Yes, filtered.
Yes, okay. Yes, filtered. Yes, he had no clue what he was saying.
Good to go.
Now, okay, so here's the problem. Now this goes back onto personal responsibility and life choices. I knew the guy didn't know what he was saying. I knew he was overconfident in the quality of the ice. So what do? I drink the damn drink. I took technically one sip of each because they both tasted like straight gasoline. It was. And like the next day, I'm like, and we ate some roadside duck.
I'm thinking it was the glasses in Al Fayoum. Didn't really see a lot of hygiene when he was sloshing water around in it with his bare hands.
It's like vacation. Can I help you with that Kool-Aid? Please, Vicky, please can I help you with that?
Note to self, drink out of those paper cups. Don't ask for glasses.
Yes. Anyway, so the suspect, it was either the road duck or the ice. I don't know, whatever it was. But the next day, I'm kind of like, everything's fine. You're like, oh, wait a second. Little gurgle there. Dude. And then, you have upset stomachs. You're like, I'll be fine in a couple of days. It'll be fine. It'll go away, blah, blah, blah. Dude, like, I leave to travel home, and it's still bad the whole way home. I get home, and I'm 5 days into it now. 2 days later, I'm like, I got to go. I finally do the Now Clinic, and the lady's like, yeah, you need some pretty serious antibiotics. He's like, we're going to hook you up with a double Z pack, get you 500 milligrams a day instead of 250. I'm pounding that. I'm texting him, who's still in Egypt. He's like, man, this is brutal. I'm like, bro,
get a Z pack.
You're not going to get any better. Like, you need to get ahead of this. Yeah. He does this. Yeah, it was. Now, first of all, it was totally worth it, but still, it was as bad of as an upset stomach as I have ever.
Is the airplane the worst place to get an upset stomach?
Yeah.
I feel like
no,
it is.
I'd say
airplane.
Egypt in general.
Probably not a lot of public restrooms.
Not a lot of toilet paper going around.
You just don't feel great, and it's just. I mean, that's the thing, right? You're introducing yourself to different environments. You're gonna, wherever it is, you're eating foods with different chemical and bacterial makeups. So.
Yeah,
even if it's
part of the gig.
Yeah, part of the gig. Well, to wrap it up again, if you ever get a chance to go to Egypt, our guy Hussein is definitely the guy you want with this. You need a man there, because here's another thing. And if you're worried about it, we didn't even talk about this. And one more thing about it before we jump off. If you're worried about traveling to Egypt at all, don't be. Because some American tourists got killed, I guess, by the Muslim Brotherhood back in '97, and that's a good thing. And here's why it's a good thing.
Wow.
Not so much for their families. That's a cold comment. Not so much for their families. But what I mean is, tourism to Egypt died for like 3 years completely. Americans stopped going because, they were killing them. So the Egyptian government came back and said, here's what we'll do. As long as you're with a licensed tour guide, we will provide an armed military or police escort everywhere you go.
Yeah, we had police with us the whole leg, right, from where we were to the middle of the Saharan Desert, where I would like to mention we did get cell service somehow, enough that we could play Back in Black by AC/DC as we were flying
which was
through the
awesome.
Saharan Desert. I still,
it was an Iron Man moment.
Can't get in my
that was one
office.
from Odin to me there, because it was something very
it was pretty cool. So if you're worried about it, don't be. If you go with a licensed tour group, you'll have a police escort everywhere you go.
Also, if you're a Nazi pilot, I would probably stay at a certain area.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
They found a body of a Nazi pilot buried in one of the caves in the middle of the Sahara, and he had carved in this iron cross into a rock and his numbers, and they shipped his remains back to Germany. And sort of one of those things, I'm like, man, that would really suck to have your last days be in the Saharan Desert.
But maybe don't be a Nazi.
Don't be a fucking Nazi.
There you go. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, if you like what we do, make sure you tell a friend and have them tune in and subscribe as well. If you hate what we do, tell 2 people. Why is that?
3 people. Doesn't matter as long as they keep talking.
Doesn't matter how they're talking, as long as they're talking.
Maybe don't be a fucking Nazi.
Maybe don't be John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com. Where we'll share any links things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout.